Hi.
So what are you making today?
Today, I'm making my bone broth.
Now, why are you making this bone broth? It's a very exciting day for me.
First of all, bone broth, I mean, if you haven't heard about bone broth, just go ahead and look it up online because the benefits are just incredible. The amount of collagen and gelatin in bone broth, especially when you're getting grass-fed, grass-finished bones from a very reliable ranch, which is the #1 ingredient, by the way. This is a ranch that I get all of my meat from. It's called Sunrise Ranch. And the ranch is in San Diego, and they're just incredible. Like, their practices are fantastic. I think you can go to sunriseranch.com and go check them out. And that's where I get my meat from. It's really hard with conventional wisdom nowadays, and conventional practices, I should say, where so much of our meat is compromised. Antibiotics and hormones, and all this stuff that we don't need at all in our system. So I'm really grateful for this.
So let's get back to my first question. Why are you making bone broth?
I'm making bone broth because I'm just finishing up a fast.
Yes, you're breaking your fast.
Yes, I'm breaking my, well, yes, it's a breakfast.
Fast.
It's a break fast. And it was a really quick one. I only could do 8 days this time because I'm actually leaving. So I'm making this bone broth before I leave so I can come back into an eating program for when I take off.
All right, so we talked about your meat,
Uh-huh.
which is grass-fed, grass-finished, single cow?
It's not a single cow. It's a single herd at the Sunrise Ranch.
Got you.
Right.
And they're local, and
They're
you've done all
local,
of
and they
this.
actually want you to come down and check out the ranch. And like, that transparency doesn't really exist too much, so I'm really happy about it.
All right, so let's take a look at all of the other ingredients that you have here
Okay.
to go into your bone broth.
So check it out. What we have is, what you're looking at right now is celery.
Celery,
Next to it is the leeks.
leeks,
Then we have ginger, garlic, and onion. Then we have my favorite carrots. I grew up with only orange carrots. Do you guys remember carrots just being orange? This blows me away. There's like different colored carrots, and they're wild carrots. And then 3 mushrooms. Now keep in mind, all of these ingredients are pretty chunked because
right, you cut them up very
they're pretty
big
chunked.
and chunky.
They're not designed really to be eaten. I'm really just going to strain the broth and get all of the gelatin and the collagen off of the bones. But this is definitely going to help with the flavor of the bone broth.
Right.
Right now, in our pressure cooker, and I'll show you how that works a little later, I have my ancient organic ghee, which I absolutely love, and especially when it says eat good fat. A little bit of turmeric, cumin, bay leaves, apple cider vinegar. Now, it's kind of said that apple cider vinegar actually draws more out of the bone. I don't know if that's real or not. I just put Bragg's apple cider vinegar basically on almost everything I eat.
What bone? Oh, those bones, gotcha.
These ones, babe.
Yes.
these
You want
ones.
the collagen and all the stuff that's on the
Yeah, I want
inside
it to
of the
draw
bone.
out whatever, all of those properties to be drawn out. You know, I've heard things like, yeah, apple cider vinegar doesn't work that way. However, I still use it, and I don't mind the taste. I actually grew up with it because of my mom. Pepper, I don't use any salt because after a fast, I don't want any additional sodium that I don't really need, and just kind of ease back into a lot of things. And this is why I discard a lot of this, because once they're cooked down and once I grab the nutrients out of them through the pressure cooker, which I will show you, and you will be amazed if you've never used one before. You also might be a little bit intimidated.
It scares the crap out of me.
I know, but
I'm afraid of that
it
thing.
really is incredible. And to tell you the truth,
Oops,
these are close.
Close.
Yeah,
Right.
and you really only need 1 or 2. Like,
Yes.
this bag will last me until I'm 59.
Right.
I'm 41 now, so you can do the math. Yes, and turmeric, of course, activated by black pepper. And so what we'll do first is, right now I have my good fat, my ghee, inside my pressure cooker before the cover goes on. And I'm
How
just gonna...
much of the ghee do you use?
You know, okay, so here's the deal. I don't really measure anything out. I eyeball everything, and I really wish I had something for you. I've gotten all my information on other bone broth recipes, but for me, however, I just chunk it and throw it in.
So eyeball like that amount?
Eyeball like whatever you want to eyeball, actually, yeah. If there's something that you really enjoy out of this plethora of freshness,
do more.
Add more, exactly. If not, you just leave it out. The cool thing is with bone broth, it really is your own recipe at any time. The only real ingredients that you truly need are bones and water. I mean, that can just be a bone broth as well. And so yeah, so right now I'm heating up our pressure cooker as a saute pan. And I will be adding first the ginger, onions, and garlics that I have here. Okay, now that our pressure cooker pan is being treated like a saute pan, I have my ghee and my black pepper in there. I'm about to add the onions, garlic, and ginger right in.
How long do you saute the onion, garlic, and ginger?
This is the best thing about a bone broth. It's fast. The reason why I use a pressure cooker is usually like traditional bone broth takes a while. You know, it could be up to 24 to 48 hours. In just like a regular pot or a crock pot or something like that. With a pressure cooker, I'm in and out in an hour and a half. So it's really incredible how this works. So I'm just gonna let that go. I'll cook down just for a second. And then next, I'm gonna start browning my bones.
Browning your bones. So what kind of bones is this? Do you just order bones?
So at Sunrise Ranch, the greatest thing about Sunrise is that if they don't have something, they don't have it. And that's how you know it's an incredibly cared for ranch. So you can buy bones by bulk, and I usually buy like about 5 pounds of bones at a time. And this right here particularly is beef knuckle. Now I know that drives you crazy now, but this is beef knuckle, and I'm telling you, it's something that we don't eat enough. And another good thing about Sunrise Ranch, I know that I'm selling it a lot, but I just believe in what they're doing, is they have organ meats, livers, hearts, gizzards. Might not sound all that appetizing, but when you take a look at the nutritional benefits of those cuts of meat instead of just the typical filet mignon, it really is something to investigate and read up on too. So yes, I'm browning my bone.
We're like 5.
I'm also gonna grab my other one. This is gonna be a hearty bone broth. You know, actually, what I'm gonna do is, that looks like a perfect amount of ratio. So I'm going to save this. That's another great thing too, is that because everything is frozen with the bones, I usually have a really long time to experiment with it. I'm gonna go over and grab the leeks right now. Again, you'll notice how everything is just super chunked. That is because we will be straining this later.
So that is the white and light green part of one pretty big leek, a large leek.
Yeah, I can't tell you how impressed I am all the time when I see these giant leek plants. But I don't really use a lot of it.
And how much onion and garlic and ginger did you use?
Okay, so again, it's really kind of up to you. It's your recipe. You can find a lot of guidelines. I just eyeball it, and so right now I'm just grabbing I cut up one ginger root that I found at the store at Fraser Farms, and I used maybe about 7 or 8 cloves of garlic and a quarter of an onion. Yeah, and I'm just gonna let this go. And the cool thing is you can throw the beef knuckle, beef bones, whatever you're using, and remind me, you can use chicken or pork or whatever for a bone broth. Very similar to like pho is usually done with pork. But you can just throw it in right from the freezer. You don't have to wait for anything to defrost. That's a really nice thing about this.
Okay, so how long have you been sauteing these items?
So we're probably like nearing about the 5-minute mark right now. The whole thing, what I'm doing right now is just to cook down the onions, the garlic, and the leeks. At the same time, browning the beef knuckle bone for the broth. And I want it to cook down a bit because when we add the water can only, in this pressure pot, fill up to about halfway.
Where that line is.
Yeah, where the line is. And yeah, as Melanie was saying, you were saying, that's you. As you were saying, sometimes these things can be a little intimidating, but once you get over that and you figure out and you read about it and you know how to use it, then it becomes second nature, like anything,
All right, so what's next? What else do you add to the pot?
Well, now that everything's cooked down just a bit, I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna grab the carrots. Remember our rainbow carrots? Look, we got purple ones, we got white ones, we got orange ones, marble columns.
Should grab all the veggies and bring them over.
Yeah, this is, and I absolutely love carrots. I really do. And did you know that some food, actually, the way that some food looks made in nature can help certain parts of your body? For example, avocados help with
Balls.
testicles or ovaries for that matter. And carrots, when you cut them, eyeball. And so,
Walnuts, brain.
you know what I mean? I love that.
Yes, tomatoes, heart.
I love when you get to listen to nature. And so here we have our carrots in here. And the carrots will stew for a bit. And at the same time, let's just go ahead and grab some celery. Now remember, we're straining this, so you're just gonna see this whole bottom stalk of the
You got
celery.
a beef knuckle and you got a celery knuckle.
I guess you can see it that way. And we have our celery. Oh, and there's one amazing thing about being here and smelling this that you can't experience right now. But I'll tell you this, after a fast, it smells amazing. And the appreciation, especially after a fast, the appreciation that you have for just even preparing food, it's pretty unique because you don't really realize how fun it is until you're not doing it at all, So we're gonna let this, we're just gonna let this cook down for probably another 5 minutes. All right, so now that everything looks phenomenal and it's actually smelling even better than it looks, I'm gonna go ahead and add some more black pepper.
You can never have enough pepper.
Honestly, not for me. I'm gonna do a little bit of cumin. And we're also now gonna add, and this is something I don't see that much in bone broth, but it's one of my favorites, turmeric. Of course, turmeric is 2,000% more bioavailable when you add pepper. Why is that, Mel? You're the HHP. Do you know why? Is it the way that it carries the turmeric through the system?
Pepper helps everything be more bioavailable.
Wow. Everything?
Pretty much.
That was a strategic choice of names then for us, huh?
Pepper, making everything more
bioavailable
since 1997.
We actually might have to name the next album that. Bioavailable. Right.
Awesome.
And so as you can see, there's no measuring spoons, there's no nothing. I just do what I need to do. I'm gonna add the apple cider vinegar. Now, if you guys are not familiar with apple cider vinegar, especially Bragg's, the organic one, with the mother, this is extremely potent and I mean, the health benefits go on and on and on. Read all about it. You love it. It's like one of those like hippie things that, you know, I grew up with my mom. Like
We just
Bragg's,
had it there.
Bragg's is like in like every situation, every day.
More bioavailability, I see.
Exactly. And now we're getting to the point where I'm going to start adding a little bit of water.
Notice how the sound changed.
That's all we're going to put right now.
Okay,
We're going to
so-
come to the boil.
It's not covering everything, it's just a little bit for now.
Yeah.
And then bring it to a boil.
We're going to bring it to a boil. And again, we're going to just let that cook down for a little bit before we put on the pressure lid, the event we're all waiting for. So I'm going to let this happen for about 5 more minutes.
Okay, so you brought it to a low boil and it's been boiling down for about 5-7 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes seems to be like the normal call. So right now I'm just going to add 2 cloves. Yeah, only 2. That's as much power of those as I can take. And then I'm going to add 3 bay leaves, accompanied with, last is the mushrooms.
Those are, how do you say it? Criminy?
Criminy.
Criminy.
Criminy, which almost sounds like a Muppet. And so you let this boil down just for like another couple of minutes, where I will then add all of the rest and the remaining of the water, not much. And then the magic happens, the pressure cooker.
Yeah, that's where I stay far, far away.
And then I'll show you actually how to use, you know, the pressure cooker. I've actually wanted to teach you for a really long time.
Yes.
Yeah. This thing is great for, I mean, you can like boil eggs in like 3 minutes kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's
Fun
fantastic.
fact, a couple of things that I am afraid of are pressure cookers, propane tanks, and semi-trucks.
Those are all valuable things to be afraid of, actually. You're definitely not wrong.
Okay.
All right, so now that we're boiling here, I'm gonna grab my water. And I'm filling it up to my pressure cooker line.
Now, if you're not cooking with a pressure cooker, you don't have a pressure cooker line, or maybe your cooker does not have a line, how high do you go? Just until it's over everything?
Yeah, that's,
Or
you
you
know,
can, if you're not using a pressure cooker, I
Yeah,
can imagine you can go high.
I mean, I'm not the expert as far as like all soups, but I believe that would be like kind of like the, you know, kind of like the go-to thing. There are things called Instapots, and if you are intimidated with pressure cookers, I would definitely look into one. I'm looking into one actually, no, that's bigger than this, to make actually bigger batches, so I can share it more with my friends and kind of turn them on to like the bone broth and actually kind of get some opinions on how it makes them feel. Because after I drink my bone broth, especially after a fast and especially at night, I will knock out and have the best sleep I've ever had. Something about bone broth. Oh, you know what
Collagen?
I think it's the collagen. Yeah, it has to be. The collagen puts me to sleep in such a deep state, and I wake up every time I wake up after having bone broth at night, ready for anything. It really is incredible. Which is, you know, it's kind of strategic why I'm doing this right now, because I am leaving for a series of shows, and so I'll be ready to hit the ground running, per se. I did have to break my fast earlier than I wanted to, but
Non-attachment.
no attachment. All good cause.
All right, so what's next? So you added the water. Do you boil it again, or is this now the pressure cooker time?
Yeah, this is now the pressure cooker time. I'm just kind of taking an inventory about where that line is, and to tell you the truth, I can add just a smidge more, because there is so much fat on this beef knuckle that it is really going to be potent. Yeah, it's a good laugh. But no, it really is going to be a thick bone broth. The good thing about that is I don't necessarily have to strain it. I could actually just take from, when it's finished, I could just take the bone broth from the pot and actually wait until tomorrow and just add more water, and it will still be a thick bone broth. So right now, we have our stove on high. This is where it gets really fun.
This is where the magic happens.
All right, so there's a line here, you line it up.
Step back, okay.
Okay, and then you just close it. You lock it, and then you hit where the pressure is. Now it's on high. As soon as our little yellow indicator pops up, and it will, this is where you drop the temperature low, or to simmer on your stove. I've only had electric stoves and then gas stoves. So this one it's kind of unique trying to get used to it, but you know, it's a stove, you'll get there. Now that it just popped up, I turn it all the way down at low, and now this sits for an hour and a half. And now I start to get really hungry.
All right, so we've been going for about an hour and a half, I guess.
It's about an hour and 40 minutes now.
With the pressure cooker.
With the pressure cooker, and I am starving.
We've just watched a quick movie on Netflix called Free Solo.
Now
it's time.
Now keep in mind, like a pressure cooker only takes an hour and a half to 2 hours. You'd have to do this for overnight or 2 days in like a crock pot or a slow cook. So, got my colander, got my silver bowl. This is the combination, which is what I will strain. We release the steam, and here we go. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take the pot and strain it and get the broth all ready to go. And you guys can figure it out. It's pretty easy how you're gonna do it. I will tell you this, since Melanie doesn't eat bone broth, I usually have a lot of bone broth left. But the trick is to be able to have one of these like silicone ice trays. They're like 2 inches, they're like the big ice cubes. And what I'll do is, I'll throw the remainder of what I don't use immediately into this, when it cools of course, and then I'll throw it into the fridge. Actually the freezer. And then I can just drop a cube or 2 whenever I'm needing bone broth before I go to bed. And that is how simple bone broth is. So, I hope you enjoy. Leave any comments in the YouTube section.